Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is honestly frustrating as hell. Dallas Wings head coach Jose Fernandez basically exposed Stephanie White and showed exactly how badly the Indiana Fever handled Caitlyn. Fernandez made it clear that Dallas's biggest priority was stopping Caitlyn. They were willing to let Kelsey Mitchell score because as long as Caitlyn wasn't creating offense, nobody else was really getting involved. But here's the crazy part. Dallas barely had to execute that defensive game plan because Stephanie White practically took Caitlyn out of the damn game herself. There were no consistent pick and rolls for Caitlin Clark in the middle of the floor. There were barely any actions designed to get her involved. They didn't even run an off-ball action for Caitlyn until the third quarter. What the hell kind of offensive plan is that? Instead, White's approach seemed ridiculously simple. Give Kelsey Mitchell the ball, let her cook, and hope that's enough. That was basically the entire damn strategy. And Jose Fernandez's comments make it even worse because he explained exactly what Dallas wanted to do against Caitlyn and admitted they didn't even have to do much of it. So when the opposing coach is basically telling you that Caitlin Clark was the priority, while your own coach is doing everything possible to keep her out of the offense, that's a massive problem. Stephanie White got exposed, and this game made that painfully obvious.
Just wanted your thoughts on Block's performance tonight and how she has grown defensively over the season.
I thought she was amazing tonight. I mean, she's all-time leader in blocks for the franchise, and I thought that, she had 7 tonight. I think her athleticism and her versatility coming off her playing on the wing caused a lot of disruption. And the blocks, the other ones that she didn't get, she contested a lot of shots.
Talk about the defense you guys played on Caitlyn Clark today, 104-15 shooting.
Well, we wanted to get it out of her hands. In any pick and roll situation in the middle of the floor, she's so good. So if it was going to be on the side of the floor, we wanted to get it out of her hands and make other people make shots. But this kind of performance, the way that Paige took care of the ball, Maddie's plus 16, Alicia Clark coming in and defending, Jess Shepard's all-time season high, Arike and what she did offensively. So there's a lot of things and a lot of people responsible, and that's what good teams do, especially with everything that this group has gone through, right? But I think it started with their continued focus in the film room and practice and shoot around today.
Kind of on that note, Coach, winning in multiple ways obviously can be beneficial in the postseason. How much does the multiple lineups, having different players step up, like the first half with Jess, the second half with Reed tonight, like how much could that help you guys come stretch?
Yeah, I mean, when you lose a player like Azy, who was the #1 pick, right, and we've relied on her for so much on both ends of the floor, right, and then a dynamic guard that was your first guard off the bench wing-wise, Isaiah James. Now you're kind of retooling a lot of things that you're doing on the offensive and defensive end, right? It started Odyssey, moved Paige off the ball. Now AC's played at the 4, played on the wing. Now Maddie's played at the 4. She played some wing tonight, right? Lana got into some foul trouble today, so we had to play different lineups. So again, much needed day off for us now, and we'll get ready for film and practice, no shoot around for Seattle this weekend.
This is where things get absolutely ridiculous because Jose Fernandez basically told everybody exactly what the Dallas Wings wanted to do against Caitlin Clark, and somehow Stephanie White made their job ridiculously easy. Listen to what Jose said. The entire defensive game plan was built around getting the ball out of Caitlyn's hands, especially when she ran that pick and roll in the middle of the floor. Fernandez knew Caitlyn was dangerous there. He knew that if she got downhill, started scoring, and began creating shots for Sophie Cunningham, Aaliyah Boston, Michaela, and everybody else, the entire Fever offense could start flowing. So Dallas wanted to attack that action. They wanted to double Caitlyn, blitz her, and force somebody else to beat them. But here's the damn problem. Indiana barely ran the actions Dallas was preparing for. Fernandez basically said they wanted to take Caitlyn out of the middle pick and roll, but the Fever didn't even run that action for most of the second quarter. It took until around the final seconds of the quarter before Caitlyn finally got that opportunity. Think about how insane that is. The opposing coach spends his film sessions preparing specifically for Caitlyn Clark's pick and roll game, and then Stephanie White walks into the game and practically says, "Don't worry, you won't have to defend it." That is a freaking bailout. And this is where the criticism of Aaliyah Boston comes in. If Boston is supposed to be the offensive hub, fine. But that doesn't mean Caitlyn Clark should suddenly become a spectator. The whole point of having two elite offensive pieces is creating actions that force the defense into impossible decisions. Instead, Caitlyn wasn't consistently getting those screens. She wasn't getting the ball in the actions she's most dangerous. The offense became predictable as hell. And guess who Dallas was perfectly comfortable allowing to attack? Kelsey Mitchell. You didn't hear Jose Fernandez sitting there saying, "We have to stop Kelsey Mitchell." Why? Because Dallas was apparently comfortable with Kelsey taking those shots. Kelsey can absolutely explode offensively, and she had a hell of a game. But Dallas understood something important. If Kelsey is doing everything one-on-one, the rest of Indiana's offense can become stagnant. That is exactly what happened. If Caitlyn Clark is controlling the ball, she's not just looking to score. She's creating opportunities. She can get Sophie Cunningham involved. She can find Aaliyah Boston. She can get Michaela involved. She can create rhythm for teammates. But when the offense becomes, "Kelsey, go get us something," everybody else can disappear. And late in the game, that's exactly what we saw. Sophie Cunningham couldn't suddenly find a rhythm because she hadn't been getting enough opportunities earlier. Ty Harris couldn't get into a rhythm either. When players aren't touching the ball, they can't magically become hot when the game is on the line. That's basic basketball. Meanwhile, Dallas was perfectly happy watching Kelsey Mitchell attack repeatedly. And here's the most damning part of Jose Fernandez's comments. He basically admitted Dallas didn't have to fully execute its defensive plan against Caitlyn Clark because Indiana wasn't putting Caitlyn into the situations Dallas feared. That's brutal. Dallas wanted to get the ball out of Caitlyn's hands. Stephanie White did it for them. Dallas wanted to force other Fever players to beat them. Indiana's offensive structure basically accepted that challenge without making Dallas work for it. No consistent middle pick and rolls, no consistent side pick and rolls, not enough off-ball movement designed specifically to free Caitlyn. Just possession after possession, or the offense became predictable. And then everybody acts surprised when the Fever struggle to generate rhythm. Come on. If you're the opposing coach and your entire defensive scouting report says stop Caitlyn Clark in the ball screen, but the Fever aren't consistently running those ball screens, what exactly are you supposed to be afraid of? Jose Fernandez didn't have to solve some impossible Caitlyn Clark puzzle. Stephanie White made the puzzle disappear. And that is why these comments are so damn damaging. I'm not saying Kelsey Mitchell shouldn't shoot. She had a hell of a game, and Indiana absolutely needs her scoring. But there has to be balance. You cannot allow your most dangerous playmaker to become an afterthought while the opposing defense gets exactly the type of game it wants. If Dallas wanted Caitlyn Clark to give the ball up, the Fever should have forced Dallas to defend her. Instead, Dallas got exactly what it wanted. Jose Fernandez essentially exposed the whole thing. So now the question is simple. Was Stephanie White completely outcoached, or was this offensive approach intentional? Because if Dallas was preparing to stop Caitlyn Clark and Indiana barely made them defend the actions they feared most, that's a hell of a coaching failure. Indiana Fever fans deserve better than watching Caitlyn Clark get strategically removed from her own offense. What do you guys think? Was Jose Fernandez basically exposing Stephanie White's game plan? Get down in the comments, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and share the channel.